they don't make the Big 12 championship game now, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Are we did double-digit dunks yet? I lost count.
That dunk is the easiest one. He just made that look like, oh, no big deal. That was just simple.
Welcome back to BYU Sports Station. We are live in Studio B, and after further review, we have decided to let Blaine Fowler come back on the program.
We did?
Uncle B is back. We thought it through. Call stands. Welcome back, Blaine.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
It's a catch. It's a catch.
This is a fun time of year, crossover season. Basketball, football. We'll start with the football because tonight the college football playoff rankings will be released, second time this season. What kind of path do you see for BYU to get in the playoff, and how will tonight's ranking factor into that?
Yeah, I think they would hope for an 11 or better, but the fact of the matter is it's very likely going to be a 12 tonight, which puts them in a position where they have to be impressive the next 3 weeks to climb back up to what I would call safe territory, right? Meaning, if they win out, then they're completely in control of their own destiny. So if they win and then they go beat Texas Tech in the championship game for the Big 12, then there's no question, right? That's the best way to do it. But I'm talking about where do they need to be for me to feel comfortable that with a close loss in the Big 12 championship game to Texas Tech, and I'm getting way ahead of myself, of course, but they could still have an at-large bid. I feel like they've got to be 10 or better to do that. If they're 12 tonight, it's harder to get to that, but it's doable if they win impressively the next 3 weeks. If they're 10 right now, I don't think they move if they just win the next 3 weeks. So isn't it strange that just 2 positions difference makes a big difference to me on whether or not I feel really comfortable that they just need to go win or whether I feel like they need to be impressive in their wins?
I said in the What's Trending segment in the A block, that, as we call it in the biz, that BYU probably needs some style points here. They haven't had it. Is this team good enough to expect style points? They win. Like, that's the bottom line. They should be credited with that, and we hope they will be at 11-1. My fear is if you're trying to out-at-large some really good teams out of the Big Ten and the SEC, you may need some late, just real nice punches of some style points. So is winning enough? Would 11-1, and if BYU does not, if they get to and do not win a Big 12 title game, but are competitive, and we should discuss what if they're not competitive too, are they still good in the at-large conversation? My fear is that the SEC strength of schedule and Big Ten and whatnot may supersede some of that. So that's why BYU needs some of these kind of metrically good moments. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Jarom. I actually am. And I think that regardless of what they do in the next 3 games, they have to play well against Texas Tech. And we're just assuming Texas Tech's not going to lose too, which,
yeah,
they only have 2 games left. And crazy things happen. Like, you go turn the ball over and you can lose. But let's just assume that Texas Tech's not going to do that because they've been so disciplined all year with the exception of 1 game where, by the way, they did turn the ball over and lost, right? But they go into there. I think even if you have style points going in, if you get blown out against Texas Tech, you're going to fall below because, remember, a G5 school has to get in there regardless of what the ranking is, right? So that game, how they play, but they have to win 3 in a row. And I think they're very capable of winning. I'd like to think that the errors and the mistakes they made in this last game will get them fired up, and they'll come with an attention to detail and focus in these next 3 games and at least run away with a couple of those games. Cincinnati's going to be tough to run away from because they're good and it's on the road. But they have the ability to win these without question in my mind if they play well. So I'm really anxious to see how they bounce back. And I think this game this Saturday night can send a message to the college football world that, yeah, we lost the game on the road in a tough environment where we made a lot of mistakes, but look how we just bounced back and we just spanked TCU. We're back. We're in great shape. Then they go on the road to Cincinnati and they win that game regardless of how big a win that is. And then they come home and they spank Central Florida. I think that's enough if they have a close game against Texas Tech that they'd still have the possibility of getting an at-large bid. So that's kind of the pathway I see for them. And do I think they're capable of all of that? Yeah, I absolutely do. After watching the film of Texas Tech, BYU is a lot closer to Texas Tech from a talent perspective than people think because of the score. When you watch how they lost, you understand that they didn't get beat up at the line of scrimmage. They had quite a few little assignment errors on offense that against a really great defense you can't have, because they make you grind. They make you earn it. You make a few mistakes. One guy doesn't do something, another guy doesn't do something on the next play, and you're behind the chains with a freshman quarterback. You have issues. And I think there's some things they can do different offensively the next time if they play these guys again that would make a difference. In watching the defense, I thought the defense was even better than I had originally thought after watching the film. So it wasn't like Iowa State a couple years ago where I walked out and went, wow, Iowa State just beat the crap out of BYU. It wasn't that at all. You watch the film and you go, okay, physically they matched up pretty good. They have some things they can clean up, and that's good. When you come out of a game and you lose, but you look at it and go, oh, you're a few plays away from being in this game, and a few big plays of maybe being able to compete with these guys if you don't turn the ball over twice really deep in your own territory, that this team is beatable. And that's how I felt after watching the film.
Blaine Fowler is with us on BYU Sports Nation, national champion, dual threat analyst of football and basketball. One more football question before we get into the basketball tonight, Blaine, and that is, I can't help but feel like Texas Tech put out a blueprint of how to slow down Bear Bachmeier and his run game and how to keep BYU's offense at bay. And a team like TCU or Cincinnati might look at that and say, okay, well, that's what we should do to beat BYU. How do you see BYU combating that idea?
Well, it's one thing to say we saw what Texas Tech did, and it's another thing to actually have the guys to do it. So TCU and Cincinnati and Central Florida don't have the front seven that Texas Tech does. And what Texas Tech did was they decided, hey, we're going to stop the run, and including the quarterback run game. We're going to be really, really aggressive, and we're going to double dog dare them to try to throw the ball early in this game. And if they stick to the run game, we make it tough on them, and we get some breaks, we're going to get out in front, and then they're going to have to throw the ball kind of to get back in the game. It was a great game plan. I'm just not so sure that TCU has the horses on defense to stymie BYU and stop them from running. Now keep in mind, TCU's not bad in terms of rush defense. They're 35th in the country, give 124 yards a game. But in pass defense, they're 101st in the country. And we're talking about a Texas Tech team that's #1 in the country in defensive efficiency and #1 in rush defense. That's not who TCU is this Saturday night. So BYU's going to have more opportunities, especially opportunities to push the ball up the field in the pass game. You could say, Texas Tech showed the formula, but the formula doesn't work if you don't have Texas Tech's guys. And nobody in this league on defense has Texas Tech's guys. The closest to that in this league is BYU's defense.
And I love that because it's going to be a fun matchup. Let's talk men's hoops. BYU taking on Delaware tonight. Oh, by the way, third-ranked UConn coming up Saturday in Boston. That's one of the biggest regular season games BYU's played in a long time. We were talking about. What does BYU need to do tonight against Delaware to continue preparation for a massive game with the Huskies?
Yeah, it feels like to me in the first couple of games that they've been kind of rushing and not quite understanding where their shots are coming from on the perimeter. And I have every confidence from being at practice. And Kevin Young's told me this is going to be a very good perimeter shooting team. There's no question when we had the Dunkathon going on the other night that this team can go attack the paint and they can get to the rim and they can finish, and nobody can stay in front of Rob Wright and nobody can stay in front of AJ. But it's also very obvious that as teams start to kind of collapse into the paint and say, okay, BYU's so good, we got to help inside. We're gonna dare them to shoot outside shots because they haven't shown yet. Yeah, they may skip all protocol, go right to the double dog dare, and if they miss a few, they're going to triple dog dare.
Oh my!
I believe it or not, and BYU hasn't shown so far that they're going to knock down open shots and knock down these looks on a consistent basis from the outside. So I would like to see tonight those guys feel more comfortable in where their shots are coming from. Where, okay, if this gets kicked back out to me, I'm going to take my time and stay fundamentally in my shooting form and knock this shot down. And they need guys to make those. They need Davis to make it. They need Baker to make those shots. They need Richie to consistently make those shots. And he's dual because he can drive and he can kick as well. They actually need Rob Wright when they back off him to knock down some outside shots. The difference between this team being a team that can go compete and try to get into a Final Four versus just a really good team is going to be their ability to knock down shots. So I want to see them make progress tonight with that, because I want them to send a message to UConn that, hey, don't think that you could just pack the paint and let us have open threes, because if you do, we're going to knock them down. You better be more balanced with your defensive preparation. And I'd like them to show that tonight. So outside shooting, comfortability. Is that even a word, Jarom? You're like my wordsmith.
Comfortness-esque, I think, is the phrase.
Okay, yeah, they have to have some comfortness-esque. Yeah, comfortability. I don't even know how to say it, but you know what? I want to see it.
It's okay. You said it on TV. It's fun.
Yeah, it is a word,
good.
Blaine. It's comfortability. Comfortability. Yes.
There it is. That's the word I'm looking for. I want to see some of that tonight.
Comfortability. Blaine, he is the fun uncle or the fun-cul on BYU Sports Nation. Great to have you with us, man.
Thanks, guys.